Last year, I spent over 100 hours creating my video, The Masculinity of Arthur Morgan. I outlined and wrote for approximately 30 hours, edited for 20 or so, and the balance was made up of time actually spent playing the game. That included me going back to a save point in Saint Denis because I had missed out on a side quest that is absolutely foundational to a high honor playthrough. In other words, I spent a lot of time on that video because I wanted to make sure it was good. I wanted to make sure I got it right. Ladies and gentlemen, I got it wrong. Not that I'm not happy with the final product, not that I think my commentary on Arthur's character does him a disservice, but rather that I played the game wrong. You see, I'm at the point in my life where I play games largely for the story. It helps to have a YouTube channel where I talk about said stories, but I'm also older and slower than I used to be. I can no longer keep up with the absolute maniacs that inhabit Call of Duty lobbies, and I have descended far from the heights of skill I previously attained in my beloved Rocket League. I have no issues with this shift in taste. Storytelling is, to my mind, the most important and foundational art in which mankind partakes. I absolutely love the fact that a medium that used to be as simple as bounce the ball to the other side of the screen has given us some of the most meaningful and impactful stories of the 21st century. My problem in this particular case arose because I made an erroneous assumption that story was more or less equal to main quest. Not that I didn't do any side missions in Red Dead 2, I certainly did, and they were well worth my time almost without fail. Tracking down the old gunslingers for Theodore Levin's book only for him to fabricate a fanciful tale when reality failed to meet his expectations was a delightful examination of how little glory was to be found in such men.
Oh, there's always folk who shoot you in the back and rewrite history.
The mission where Arthur shows a widow how to hunt in order to survive and keep her deceased husband's dream alive is an amazing window into the generous soul of our protagonist.
Thank you. That was the first time anyone's done anything nice for us. For me, since we got here.
Nature provides, but she sure don't always make it easy.
The Mary Linton missions that ask the question, what could have been, are technically optional, but I could hardly have forgiven myself had I skipped them. They provide an exploration of Arthur's vulnerable side that is desperately needed and hauntingly beautiful.
I want to. More than anything, I want to.
That vulnerability comes into full view when Arthur meets Sister Calderon at the train station, as he bares his soul to her with two simple words in a show of tremendous courage and strength.
I'm afraid.
Yes, that conversation is part of a main story mission, but it only happens if you play through a series of side missions involving the kind sister and her fellow religious brother Dorkins, which are only available if Arthur has high honor. I love that the choices you make outside of the main story can and do affect how it plays out. Everything you do matters for Arthur, which is how it should be. Rockstar really took the Detective Freeman approach to designing this game.
All the pieces matter.
There is, however, a decision that you can make that does not technically affect anything, and yet it might matter more than any other choice. How do you treat the camp? Is it merely a place to stop in every once in a while because someone there has a mission for you, because you need to contribute to the camp fund and do chores to raise your honor score, because your beard has gotten unruly and you can't stand Arthur's aesthetic being ruined? Or is it home? You can guess which option I chose on my initial playthrough. I had a story to get to. I didn't have time to sing silly songs. Chatting around the campfire wouldn't gain me honor. Wandering around and observing gang members going about their day would not move the story forward. But now that I'm playing through a second time, I realized something. This is the story. This, right here, this place, these people, they are the core of the narrative. They are why Arthur does what he does. They are all he knows and all he believes in. If I do not spend time with them, what is all this for? All this lying, robbing, and killing, of which there was a lot, since I'm doing low honor this time around, has to be for some reason beyond a sick sense of self-gratification, right? After all, I'm playing as Arthur, not Micah. It's not that I ignored the camp entirely in my first playthrough. I distinctly remember an interaction between Arthur and Mary Beth, where she urges him in the midst of his moral confusion to simply try.
Try to do the good thing.
I'm not sure if I realized it at the time, but this moment was missing something. History. I believed easily enough that Mary Beth and Arthur could talk in such a free manner. They are members of the same pseudo-family. And even if you don't spend hours wandering around camp and talking to every available gang member, Red Dead 2 establishes how important this little world is to Arthur and how much they all look up to him. Even Micah.
I always looked up to you, Arthur.
Well, that's your first mistake.
So while this conversation hardly felt out of place, I am now finding that it could have meant so much more. I'm still quite early in my second playthrough, but I've already come across 2 interactions, just with Mary Beth in particular, that lend more weight to that late game talk. The first such event actually doesn't involve Arthur at all, except as an observer. While hanging around the camp one morning, I saw Mrs. Grimshaw make her way to where the young women sleep, and things got ugly.
Not reading this. Idleness is betrayal because it means I work so you don't have to. That's not right, is it?
I guess not, miss.
You're right, not Missy! On!
Poor Mary Beth. She's just minding her own business, trying to get lost in a book for a little while, and next thing she knows, the camp mom is tearing her a new one for daring to not, I don't know, whatever needs to be done around here. And Arthur just stands there like... That's my second reference to The Wire in this video. I'm planting seeds, folks. Anyway, I absolutely love the inclusion of interactions like this. Events that happen no matter where Arthur is, that do not depend on the player at all. Rockstar excelled at making the world feel alive. You may be the main character of this story, but the world does not revolve around you. If you miss something, no one cares. Those words were not meant for your ears. Beyond that, this little spat adds depth to both characters involved. If you weren't really sure how much of a hard-ass Susan Grimshaw is, well, you are now. And I was never really sure how Mary Beth fit into the Vanderlyn gang. Never really paid it much heed, to be honest. But now I know, she doesn't. She's out of her element, but this, as she says in their camp outside Annisburg, is all she has. Oh, she does earn her keep in the gang, as she's the one who tips Arthur off about the train laden with rich folk, but it's clear that this life suits her far less than it does a woman like Karen, who happily grabs a rifle when it comes time to rob a bank. And Karen, I recently learned, is quite smitten with Sean Maguire, the verbose young Irishman whom you rescue from the hands of bounty hunters early on in the story. His return gives the gang an excuse, not that they really need one, to drink and make merry, and I don't remember this party. I don't think I was present for Sean's speech, for Bill's rant about most men being sheep, for the general flurry of booze, song, and excitement. I missed it. How could I miss it? Arthur just said that this is what matters to him.
You know, nothing means more to me than this gang. The bond we share. It's the most real thing to me.
Yeah, the main story is the meat and the side quest, the potatoes or mushrooms or whatever you like with your steak. But the camp, it's the salt, it's the seasoning. Do you technically need it? No. Does it change how events play out? No. Will you end up in the same place no matter how many or how few conversations you have around the campfire? Yes, you will. From a technical standpoint, living in this camp does not matter at all. But when it comes to the player's appreciation of the story and characters, when it comes to embracing this world, when it comes to truly tasting the game as it is meant to be tasted, the camp matters a great deal. And this is the true power of video games as stories, as works of art. In every other form of media, you experience the story exactly as it is created. Everybody who ever watches any given movie or TV show has the exact same objective experience, as do all readers of every novel and comic book ever written. And yes, I know choose-your-own-adventure books exist, but do they? Not only do your choices directly affect the story here, your every optional conversation adds just a bit of paint to the canvas, subtly shifting your perception of the narrative and the characters. Your journey was likely colored by many different camp interactions, many of which another player never even saw. And it is impossible not to miss stuff, because these people do not wait for you to be done with whatever it is you are doing to have their conversation, or sing their song, or dance their dance. Life goes on without you. All you can do is choose what's most important, or you could save scum, which isn't really a thing in Red Dead 2, but I totally did before Sean's party because I had severe FOMO after missing out on several things. Don't worry, I learned my lesson afterward. No more of that. I'll just take the journey that I take. Though one of the moments from said party that highlights this video's theme best comes when Mary Beth asks Arthur to dance, and he accepts.
See, Arthur, it's okay to dance. Doesn't mean we won't stop thinking you're angry and sad.
What you think of me? Look at me.
Sad in a good way, like a romantic poet.
Well, that's about all I can muster.
That has been one of my favorite moments of this new playthrough, and I doubt many will surpass it. It's a momentary peek behind the curtain, a glimpse past Arthur's facade, one that Marybeth acknowledges as important, even necessary, but that need not define who he truly is. This tiny exchange is a precursor to that late-game conversation, a setup that I didn't know was missing, but now cannot imagine going without. I'm not far at all into Red Dead 2's story this time around, but playing this way has been night and day, and not just because I now routinely steal coaches and silence witnesses instead of playing the honorable thief. I am not merely traveling through the world this time. I am living in it. I am taking my time, talking to those around me, seeing and hearing how they react to the events of the story, witnessing them express their hopes, their dreams, and their fears, like Abigail confessing her worries to Hosea.
What are we gonna do? Is Dutch... I mean, he's always found a way, but lately
I know, dear. Seems we don't have a choice but to ride this train to the end of the line. If I were you, think of the boy and make plans.
Now, I don't mean to simply show you a compilation of all the cool little moments I discovered in my time at the camp, but they do such an amazing job fleshing out the characters, and I'm so mad at myself for missing practically every single one on my initial playthrough. I feel like I only experienced half the story. And even so, even though I played it wrong, Red Dead Redemption 2 quickly jumped into my top 5 games of all time. It's just that good. If you would like to watch the aforementioned video on the masculinity of Arthur Morgan, click here. Also, I will link down below my channel where I exclusively make long videos about the philosophies of games. It's going to be a very, very rockstar fourth quarter this year. Thank you for watching, God bless, and I will see you next time.